BMW 3 Series. It's one of the most iconic luxury cars ever made. With the introduction of the M version, it's become a benchmark of automotive success. With close to 17 million sold since its successful start in 1975, the 3 Series has been going strong for 7 generations. This is the history of one of the greatest selling car models of all time, the BMW 3 Series. The year is 1975. You're listening to the radio to the new song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds after seeing Jaws in the theater, hoping to get home just in time to catch an episode of All in the Family. Right as the first of a new product is rolling right off the assembly line. The BMW E21, the first 3 Series ever made. In 1970, legendary car designer Paul Brock was appointed design director of BMW. The German car brand was looking for a solution to replace its aging 02 series. In time, the E21 was born, being unveiled to the public at Munich's Olympic Stadium in 1975. The 2-door-only car was powered by either a 1.6 or 1.8-liter carbureted inline 4-cylinder, and then later that year with a fuel-injected 2-liter. While the style did resemble that of the E12 5 Series currently in production, the distinctive profile with its raised tail section and crease line along the body became instantly recognizable. Inside, the BMW sported a first for the company, a dashboard that angled in toward the driver. This truly established the new BMW 3 Series as a driver's car. As time went on, changes came about. A carbureted and then fuel-injected inline 6-cylinder, a cabriolet body style, and a host of cosmetic, engine, and labeling changes for the US market debut in 1977. Production ran strong until December of 1983 when the last E21 rolled off the assembly line in Munich, Germany, marking about 1.36 million 3 Series BMWs sold. "1982 was one heck of a year. Michael Jackson's album Thriller was released, E.T. phoned home, Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands, and Disney opened its new park, the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, or EPCOT. It was also the year of the E30, the second generation 3 Series. While still following the same design formula as the last generation, BMW had this generation available with so many different configurations as the generation grew over the years. 2-door, 4-door, convertible, and even a wagon. The 3 Series didn't just change in terms of looks. While the engines were originally carried over from the E21, soon came a diesel inline 6, which was a first for the series. At the 1985 Frankfurt Motor Show, BMW unveiled the 325iX with its all-wheel drive system, a first for BMW. What else was a first for this generation? The BMW M3. First built for racing only in 1985, when released to the public in Europe in 1986 and to the US in 1987, they became quite well renowned for good power and excellent handling. This is coming from a time when cars were not really known for either. The lowest spec M3 made 195 horsepower and the highest spec made 235, which made it a good contender to other performance-oriented cars of the time. The E30 ran up until about 1994 while already in tandem production with the next generation, which started in 1990. While sales numbers slowed down because of that, there were still a total of 2,433,000 E30s sold over the run. Despite the E30 running up until 1994, 1990 saw the release of the third generation of the greatest BMW series, the E36. With it came the start to the official demolition of the Berlin Wall. Operation Desert Shield goes into effect. The Hubble telescope is launched into space. And Microsoft releases Windows 3.0. Lead designers Pinky Lai and Boyka Boyer teamed up to redesign the third generation of the 3 Series. The departure from the hard and aggressive angles were apparent and substituted with a more rounded appearance with a focus on aerodynamics. The market was offered a 4-door and 2-door variant and eventually got a convertible, cabriolet, wagon, and a first for the series, a 3-door hatchback. While BMW gave some more options with what style you could go for, there was no all-wheel drive option for this generation. Another big change came in the form of the M3. This time around, BMW developed the M3 to focus first on the streets and daily driving. However, this doesn't mean power and performance was sacrificed. The M3 E36 was the first to be powered by an inline 6-cylinder, cranking out 282 horsepower and finishing the run at about 316. It was also the first M3 to come out with a 4-door option. Between the European and US markets, there were 8 variants of the M3 available. In general, if you wanted a BMW 3 Series in the 90s, you were guaranteed to find something for you, especially if you were in Europe. For example, the 316i came in sedan, coupe, convertible, wagon, and compact. If you take all body styles and trim levels into consideration, there were 39 different types of 3 Series BMWs that you could get. This is compared to the only 16 you can get in North America, and some of them were Canadian or US only. The sensation of the 3 Series continued to grow, and BMW responded in 1997. 1997. Princess Diana's death rocked the world. Hong Kong was returned to Chinese rule. Titanic was released in theaters. And Tiger Woods at 21 years old became the youngest ever golfer to win the Masters. It was also the year of the E46. BMW wanted to not only improve the 3 Series aerodynamics, but also the aggressive stance. So Chief Engineer Wolfgang Seibert, Head of R&D Wolfgang Reitzel, Chief Designer Chris Bengal, and Eric Goplin of DesignWorks USA got together to transform the 3 Series into another killer for the consumer market. The 4-door sedan was the first to be released, followed by the coupe, convertible, wagon, compact, and M3. The E46 was 70% more rigid compared to the E36 and used more aluminum components to cut down on weight. Though it was still heavier than the outgoing generation, the weight was, however, distributed evenly over a near 50-50 weight distribution. While the performance was admired, if you wanted the best, you had to wait until 2000 when the E46 M3 was released. Powered by the S54 naturally aspirated straight 6, the 3.2-liter engine propelled the M3 from 0 to 60 in about 5.2 seconds. Peak performance, aside from the very rare GTR, came from the M3 CSL, which removed some creature comfort equipment and replaced the roof, door panel, and center console with carbon fiber pieces. The standard 3 Series models lived on, though, and received some facelifts in 2001 for the coupe and touring models, and in 2003 for the coupe and convertible models. The changes included engine changes, navigation upgrades, transmission changes, headlight and taillight changes, and of course some cosmetic changes. All of these changes proved to be a success for BMW, with 3,266,885 units sold. The 4th generation of the BMW 3 Series is the top-selling BMW model of all time. 2005. Hurricane Katrina devastates New Orleans and other areas in the United States. Disneyland celebrates 50 years. Pope John Paul II passes away. And the IRA announced that Northern Ireland would give up their weapons and end its 36-year conflict with England. It was also at this time that BMW released the E90. This generation marked the beginning of BMW using different chassis codes to denote different models of the 3 Series. E90 for the 4-door, E91 for the wagon, E92 for the coupe, and E93 for the convertible. The E90 platform was longer, wider, and roomier. There were tons of optional packages available, allowing for customers to truly tailor their BMW to their desires. Standard, though, were things like run-flat tires, and it was the first 3 Series to come with BMW's iDrive operating system. 1 year after the unveiling at the Geneva Motor Show in March 2005, it was awarded the title of World Car of the Year. The design came out in waves. BMW changed up its method of production by having parts of the car built and assembled off the assembly line and installed as complete units on the assembly line, such as the dashboard. Once the technical information and communication issues were sorted out, the 4-door and wagon, designed by Joji Nagashima, was introduced in March 2005, and the coupe and convertible, designed by Michael Markafeka, was introduced in 2006 and 2007 respectively. To continue to make the series different compared to the outgoing generation, BMW had one more trick up its sleeve when it came to the M3. A V8. The M3 models of the E90, E92, and E93 all shared the powerhouse of the S65 V8 engine, which pumped out 414 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. It can be matched with a 6-speed manual transmission, or in April of 2008, there was the optional dual-clutch M-DTC, a first for BMW. The M3 can be propelled from 0 to 60 in up to 4.6 seconds. With the good looks, sound, and performance, this would become an iconic M3, as it turned out to be the first and only M3 to have a V8. Starting in 2008, some facelifts started to happen for the E90 for the 2009 model year. A lot changed. Engines, power, bumpers, mirrors, headlights, taillights, deck lid, kidney grills, and more. X-Drive badges appeared on all all-wheel drive models, and the iDrive system got some changes as well. By the end of the first year of production in 2005, the E90 became BMW's best-selling car worldwide and ended up becoming the best-selling luxury car in North America. This, despite BBC's Top Gear awarding it the ugliest car of the year 2005.
Which one's won it? It's the BMW 3 Series!
It's so dull, it's just some car, isn't it? It's like 14 foot of car.
1 year after the start of the next decade, BMW sold its final 5th generation 3 Series at 3,076,085 in total sold, and released its next iteration of the series for the world to see. 2011. Beyond astonishingly being 13 years ago, nuclear disaster struck the Fukushima plant due to an earthquake and tsunami. Bin Laden and Gaddafi are killed. Game of Thrones premieres. Castro resigns. Terror attacks in Norway. England riots. Steve Jobs passes away. And the last US troops pull out of Iraq. In the midst of all that, BMW releases the 6th generation of the 3 Series, the F30. Much like the last series, the F30 chassis code changed based on the model. F30 for the 4-door and F31 for the wagon. A major departure happened for the series though, with the F32 for the coupe and the F33 for the convertible being dropped from the 3 Series lineup and used to create the new 4 Series BMW. To perhaps make up for it, BMW introduced a separate hatchback model called the 3 Series Gran Turismo, which has the chassis code of F34. There was also a long wheelbase sedan produced only for the Chinese market that was given the chassis code F35. Overall, the F30 generation underwent major design changes to mimic more of the car's bigger brother, the 5 Series. Exterior designer of the F30 Christopher Weil and exterior designer of the F31 Michael De Bono gave the 6th generation a bit more of a chiseled appearance over the outgoing generation. Some notable features are the headlights connecting to the kidney grills, the L-shaped taillights, and the coupe-like roofline with the longer wheelbase, giving more room to the passengers in the back. BMW decided to give their customers a bit more flexibility on how they wanted their F30 to appear and feel by offering 4 trim levels. The luxury line, which focuses on good looks with chrome, flashy wheels, and cushy interior. The modern line still focuses on luxury, but a bit more toned down on the accents. The sports line features more aggressive styling. And the M Sport features some cosmetic and suspension parts from the M car. For the first time, all BMWs in the 3 Series came with turbocharged engines. But it was also the first time that BMW offered a hybrid option for the 3 Series. Over the generation, BMW offered a few different gasoline and diesel 4- and 6-cylinder engines, and eventually a 3-cylinder in 2016. Various 6-speed manuals and 8-speed automatics were available on certain models. But if you truly wanted performance, you had to get the new M3. Chassis code F80. The F80 was powered by BMW's S55 twin-turbocharged straight-six engine, making it the first turbocharged M3. The 425 horsepower and 406 foot-pounds of torque rocked the M3 from 0 to 60 in up to 3.9 seconds. The competition package, released in 2016, upped the power to 444 horses. The F80 was only released as a sedan, but made use of carbon fiber and some aluminum panels to reduce weight. There were a handful of special editions released over the generation, but due to some tightening emission regulations, the F80 production ended a little bit earlier than the rest of the 3 Series in 2018. In 2015, the facelift came for the 6th generation with some minor cosmetic changes, but heavy with engine and performance changes. Regardless of what changes were made to the headlights, the IIHS in the United States said the F30 had some of the worst headlights of any vehicle during that time. With the last 6th generation rolling off the assembly line in 2019, 2,652,485 were sold over the run, which leads us to where we are today. 2018. Meghan Markle joins the British royal family. The Me Too movement is in full swing. Sears and Toys R Us declare bankruptcy. And the G20 is born. With the Gran Turismo being discontinued, that left 2 body styles left for the 7th generation 3 Series, the 4-door G20 and the G21 wagon. Yet China did get another long wheelbase version with the chassis code G28 launched 1 year later. The G20, designed by Alexei Keza, was unveiled at the 2018 Paris Motor Show. It was longer, wider, and lighter than the F30 it replaced, but still retained a 50-50 weight distribution. Keeping with the trim level concept like the F30, BMW released the 2018 G20 in 4 trim levels. Advantage, which included a couple special creature comforts like park distance control, as well as some cosmetic upgrades like wheels and LED fog lights. Sportline, which gave some unique black trim inside and out, along with sporty seats. Luxury line, which featured more high-end fine wood and unique trims. And the M Sport with line-specific exterior trim, interior finish, and more. In 2020, after the facelift, BMW replaced the Advantage line with the Base line or Sport line, left the M Sport, and introduced the M Sport Pro, which gave more exclusive color options. 8.8-inch screens were standard and able to be upgraded to the 10.25 inches and 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. And when it came to performance, you had your option between a gasoline power plant, a hybrid version with that engine and electric motor, or a diesel option. Power was modest at best, but BMW knew how to make the G20 move. And that was the latest iteration of the M3 that was released in 2020, the G80. The G80 and G81 sport the turbocharged S58 straight 6, making 473 horsepower and 406 foot-pounds of torque. The competition model bumped that up to 503 horsepower and 479 foot-pounds of torque. In 2023, the M3 CS debuted, peaking the G80's power at an astounding 542 horsepower with a carried over 479 foot-pounds of torque and all-wheel drive. This is the first time BMW has ever made an M3 wagon as well, but unfortunately, it has still not made its way into the US at the time of making this video. In 2022, the G20 got the standard BMW facelift treatment. While the exterior saw more modest updates, the interior started coming standard with a new dual-curve display and iDrive 8. While the engine stayed the same, the 8-speed automatic became standard, completely replacing the 6-speed manual. And that leaves us where we are now. The current G20 is rumored to stick around until about 2027, with maybe another refresh before that. But with the internal combustion engine potentially on the chopping block in the not-so-distant future, one can only imagine what the future of the 3 Series will be for the 8th generation. From 1975 to now, BMW has been making not only one of their best cars, but one of the top-selling car models in the world, the 3 Series. It is striven to be a harmonic balance between sport and luxury, sophistication and style, power and technology. You can cruise around in comfort and efficiency with a base model or tear up the tracks with an M3. BMW truly wanted to make a car that anyone could enjoy. And based on the history, they have done just that.